I'm gonna do. Alrighty, let's begin, everyone. And then I guess I'll spotlight me. Slightly harder to see the spotlights when a screen is shared. How fun. Alrighty. Welcome, everyone. We are having an incredible event today. I will remind our speakers to go slow for the benefit of our translator. And we are very lucky to be joined by a brilliant ASL translator as well as a live captioner today. We are going to be doing an event on accessibility and design resources for your Canvas courses. This is a presentation generally designed for faculty, but there are resources that can be used by most people on campus. Now, this is co-sponsored by the Los Rios Federation of Teachers Social Justice Caucus. We and the UDA coordinators for each campus. We are very lucky to be joined by Gabriela Natal, who will be leading our slideshow, as well as a bunch of other brilliant UDAs, the A-team, and accessibility experts. We are speaking specifically about accessibility today, and thank you all for coming. This is being recorded, and we are discouraging a lot of chat. You can ask questions in there, and we have experts to answer. Please, as helpful as you want to be, don't answer questions on your own. Let the experts do it. Already, Gabriela, please take it away.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Gabriela Natal, and today we'll be talking about accessibility and design resources for your Canvas courses. And as you can see, our team is pretty big, and in a few minutes, I will introduce ourselves. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about learner variability, why pretty much we are doing what we're doing, and the different courses and other resources we have accessible for faculty to make their courses accessible. And of course, we're here to support. We'll talk about Foundations 1.0, which is a course for faculty. We'll talk about the A-team. We'll talk about closed captioning, course design, accessible course design assistance that we provide, and other resources for faculty. And we're going to start with welcome and introductions. I already said my name is Gabriela Natal, and I am the Universal Design and Accessibility Coordinator at Sacramento City College. And we're here because we care about making our courses accessible to all students. And we want to make sure that faculty get support when they choose to make their courses more accessible. And my colleagues can introduce themselves. Maybe Becky, you can start.
Yeah, hi, my name is Becky Mendel. I am the Universal Design and Accessibility Coordinator at Folsom Lake College. And I'll pass it off to Lori.
Hi, good morning. My name is Lori Hokerson, and I am the UDA at American River College.
Do we have Timmy?
I'll jump in. Hi, I'm Timmy Peppelman, and I am the Universal Design and Accessibility Coordinator at Cosumnes River College, and I'll pass it off to Summer.
Good morning, my name is Summer Cavalier. I am the online course designer and accessibility expert, and I'm also the A-team lead. Pass it off to Leslie.
Last but not least, right? No. I'm Leslie Reeves. I get to work with the accessibility team at Los Rios, and I'm glad to be here. Good to see everybody.
And of course, we want to thank excuse me, we want to thank the union for this opportunity. And thank you, Jacob, for being here with us. In fact, Jacob is going to start by talking a little bit about the contractual information related to accessibility.
Did we want to do the quick Slido to find out who's here and what they're hoping to get?
Sure, I forgot about that. Where is that?
It should be on the slide after introductions.
Go ahead, Lori.
Okay, so well, on the slide, there's some information, but I went ahead in the chat. Again, it's always nice to know who's here and what you're trying to get and hoping to get from us. So I created a Slido, which is a new tool that I discovered this summer. So you guys are my guinea pigs for using it. There's a link in the chat where you can go and we're going to answer some questions together just to see who's here, what our comfort with accessibility is, and again, make sure that the things that you were hoping to get that we can hopefully cover in our time together. So because I'm not presenting, I'm unable to show you the screen, although I guess I probably could screen share since the slide's not up. If everyone just uses the link in the chat, they can join and respond. It is anonymous. It says only one presenter could share at a time. I don't know what's currently sharing, so I'm just going to share and replace with what my Slido is going to look like here. So hold on. Again, I've never done this like multiple people presenting. This is all new to me. So there you go. You can kind of see that right now. We've got a lot of ARC and Consumnes people and a few more Sac City and Folsom. But again, it's great to have everybody here. You can keep responding. I'm going to move on to the next question. So the next question would be, what is one word that would best describe your comfort and or awareness about accessibility in the context of your job? So just one word that pops up. Go ahead and submit that and we will see sort of where we are all as a group. See people typing, this is great. Very cool. Lots of comfort, it looks like. Arduous, we see that in there.
Lori, are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, I think so. I have a green highlight around it. Can people see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So good is the largest word, right? So again, we can see a lot of things. I'm overwhelmed.